So we're off to a flying start. Yeah, I just did that. Arrived at Elmley, front gate, giving some goodies as usual. First thing I saw was a kestrel being mobbed by something. I hoped it was going to be something like a merlin or a hobby being mobbed, but it was a kestrel, one of the resident kestrels, and it turned out to be a rook. I got some photos. I thought best to go with photos to try and. You're always trying to get them with their claws up. You know, that shot. I've had it with a short-eared owl and was it a barn owl or a kestrel? I think it was a barn owl that short-eared. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I'll have to look back. I'll put it up for you to see when I find out what it was. I think it was a kestrel and a short-eared owl. Over by the schoolhouse, wings spread apart. And then 3 buzzards. How did I spot those? They were quite high up. So I just took the opportunity. I jumped out the cab, turned the engine off so there wasn't much vibration, and used it, the back of my cab as steadying my elbows, and just filmed them for a while. Got some great footage. Even though it was quite far away, my lens gets really close. Lovely day for a friend's late opening. Just making my way down to the hide because the tide is in, which means there should be more birds forced in to feed in front of the Wellmarsh hide. Got a Chetty's warbler over here. I've just had a look. We got a mention on the WhatsApp group. There was an osprey on a post eating a fish. So I just ran up to the viewing screen there and had a look to the sort of position they said and Fiona said. And it was, the heat haze is madness. I'm assuming it is the osprey. I'm not even going to bother filming it. But I want to do the hide first. I was going to do it this way round because the tide is in. We're going to do the hides. Then we're going to go and look little owl, brickfields, the bearded reedlings, but in this wind, probably not today. And then the osprey on the swale. I'm not making a big fuss of trying to get osprey pictures because I've been fortunate enough to see them in several countries and get some real frame-filling shots. So I won't sort of bore you with that, but if we get them here, that'd be nice. Apart from that, we've had, I don't know what's causing it, but every so often these flocks of lapwing will go up. First had it at the front gate, and when that happens, I always, I'm looking for some sort of raptor flying overhead, and they've been going up several times here in front of the farmhouses. I don't know what's causing it. Those and starlings, and I think I saw some waders in between them, but I can't ID them. I just did a bit of video to show you. Other than that, windy, quiet. Heard some, just like I said, the Chetty's warbler. Hoping maybe for some wheat here, but haven't been to the hide for a little while. Probably, what is it, about a month now? So hopefully there'll be a little surprise up there. But other than that, there's no other better way to spend the day. I've timed it so the rainy days I'm at home editing things I've done because I've got several projects in the works, things I started halfway or just need to be finished off. And then I get all my chores done at home and time coming out for these nice days like this. So just a quick catch up. We've had a male marsh harrier that I forgot about on the main track. Then just along here we had, I think it was 4 female pheasants just eating, going in and out of the bush on the side of the path up to the hides. And they kept looking up and kept looking up. And I had a little check. It was a kestrel. What are they fearful of? I don't know. But there we go. Kestrel was just hunting above them. Does a kestrel ever give pheasants any grief? I don't know. And then out there, big flocks of geese coming in, Canada geese and greylag. And you can see the sort of leucistic ones, I don't know what you would call them, sort of there's a few white ones out there which I assume are, escaped domestic or released domestic. They're not, I thought they might be swans at first, but they are geese. I'm pretty sure they're geese. It's weird, I've got 2 bogey birds I still haven't got after 4 years. Pink-footed geese and the tundra bean geese. I've done a couple of times, I've gone on drives when they've been mentioned on bird guides in some field and had 0 luck. And one day I'll probably just come across a massive flock of them. So we don't chase those anymore. They'll come to me. But I think you have to go a bit further north, probably up to Norfolk for stuff like that. Down here, you get the odd one or two in a flock of greylag. So Wellmarsh is pretty dead. There's a lot of management going on of the soil and the plants and the reed beds and all that kind of stuff. So it must have scared everything off. But it has to be done, I guess. It's nature needs a helping hand, I assume. I know nothing about it, and these guys are the experts. But got here and I saw some white birds and little egrets. I was just kind of sitting here. I thought, okay, I have my lunch, and I pulled out my boiled eggs. Yum, yum. Sprinkled a little bit of salt and a little bit of bacon, and I was chewing away, and I was like, what? One of the birds was doing this. Yes, spoonbill. It was doing its spoonbill thing. Sort of sweeps the water, and then every so often whoop, flicks something back into its beak. So it's out there now. I'm going to give it 10-15 minutes because I think all the action is going to be that osprey. So I want to get down there and get some video of that. But if I can get a shot of this osprey, spoonbill, if I can get a shot of the spoonbill taking off, coming towards me, that would be, wow. One little thing I missed, kestrel was coming in from that direction. So many kestrels. There's only so many kestrel pictures and video and so much video you can collect. But this one was flying like it had a purpose. And it was too late before I realized it had something in its claws. I ran to the door, tried to get it going overhead, but it was already in the distance. It's a blast. It was pretty small, probably a shrew. Oh well. Anyway, yeah. If you see a photo after this, I got it. If not, I'm going to head down to Brickfields ASAP. Yeah, so the spoonbill didn't take off. Not much else happening. Just a second ago, a big flock of curlew fly over from, where are we now? I'm trying to get my bearings. From south to north, yeah, just over to the farmhouse from the swale. Other than that, there's been I basically check everything that goes over, especially if it's on its own. I'm wondering why it's on its own, especially if it's a wader like a duck. So I checked it, female pintail. And then a couple of meadow pipits. I'm hearing them everywhere. Landed on the island in the middle. Remember, these pictures are all rubbish, I know, but they're just ID for ID purposes. So I'm not even going to process them. I'm just going to send them straight from JPEG, and they'll look a bit rubbish, but just show you. Another thing that was flying by, picture to ID, male reed bunting. Little egret over there. A couple more flocks of geese going up. And this is going to be another foot. Those flocks keep going up, so I don't know if you can see that from here. The flocks over by the farmhouse, they keep going up and up and up. It's the lapwing and the curlew. But this is going to be the skill. Obviously there are going to be times when there's not much to show. Not everything is owls and raptors and grizzly bears riding on the back of great white sharks. It's never going to always be like that. Let me keep an eye here, so I'm not missing it. I think it's just all curlews. Curlews. I'm thinking of doing I forgot this word before, a blooper reel at the end of things if I make enough mistakes. But my only worry with that is I'll start getting into the habit of making mistakes and bloopers, and I don't want to get into that habit because I think it'll affect the way I speak, which is bad enough already. Anyway, point was, if there's not much to see, it's up to you as the vlogger to make it as interesting as possible. Your skill, it could, I might just see a pigeon and then I've got to make a 20-minute vlog out of that. So, anyway, back to the car park, schoolhouse for little owl. Hopefully not in this sprint readings, and then let's go and check out those osprey on the swim. Well, I am absolutely over the moon. No, it wasn't the osprey, but I was down here looking for the osprey. And obviously I'm just keeping an eye for any other interesting things going around. And this was the last area down here by the swale that I saw brambling. I think it was in that tree over there. So I'm always on the lookout because I love bramblings and I haven't got any amazing photos yet. So anyway, I saw a flock of goldfinch, and anything with a goldfinch, it should stand out a little bit. So I saw the birds land in a tree, and one didn't look as white on the distance. And I snapped a photo of the tree and zoomed in, brambling. So I came back, I grabbed my stuff off a bench I was waiting over by the swale, and followed it over here to this gate over here, and they're all feeding on the other side. And I was moving the camera around trying to see the brambling among them. The thicker post was keeping me hidden. I was using that to sort of peer around and peer over, and nothing was happening. I heard this uncall. I mean, I don't think I've heard a brambling call. I might have done, but I've forgotten about it. But it was a strange call which made me look to my left, and it was on top of one of these pods. I don't know the name of them, and calling and grabbing stuff out of the air. And I please switched to video, quickly adjusted the exposure, please stay still. And I got about 15 seconds. I was so happy. And I kept saying, don't switch to photo. I'd want a photo because the background was lovely. It was nicely blurred out. But no, just video it, because this is the first. This is an absolute first. It was calling. It was perfectly framed. It was in focus. My camera was managed, just leave it, and it flew off. And I've been searching for it ever since. But oh man, I'm so happy. I love those birds. I'll have to clip out some of the clicks and the things as I twist my lens. But yeah, I've been finding, you can hear there's a lot of action around. There's a lot of robins. I just got, I think it was a song thrush in there. It was a bit covered by branches. The rule is now, where I've moved in the past to try and get past reeds and branches, just film the bird to start with, because I had this yesterday with a kingfisher. I could have got some footage of it, manually focusing, but I didn't, and it flew because I adjusted my position to get a clearer shot. So I filmed it through there and moved, but it had gone. So I got the footage this time. So we're still looking for the brambling now. Robin's here at the moment. But that call, that very specific call, when it called to me, I haven't heard since. So I don't know where it's gone, but I am mega, mega happy. And also another weird one, it was from behind, a avocet. Is it quite late for avocets? Just went over. So we're gonna go back to the river and listen for any more flocks that come down, because I'm gonna go chasing them. And yeah, nothing else on the great crested grebe. No. We'll hope for, the osprey. I don't know if the osprey comes up this way to feed or if it goes further east. But there's definitely a lot of action here, but you've got to be able to pick out the different birds from the flock. But I haven't heard the goldfinch for a while. So I think they've moved further down. So anyway, happy days. Well, we did see the brambling one more time, but it was flying overhead. It called, it landed on a couple of thistles and then disappeared off to the other side of the swale. I managed to fire off a few shots just to check it was what it was, and it was carrying a little mayfly or something. So, oh well. I won't say oh well, I'm very happy, no problem. So on the swale, some of the notables, which you can't really see in the video, but I took pictures and zoomed in. Several grey plover, probably a bar-tailed godwit with the black-tailed godwits. What was the other one? There, 3 avocets. There's a couple of avocet flybys, and then we've got 3 together feeding on the swell. Lots and lots of redshank. Somebody mentioned a little gull, didn't see it. No osprey. Actually, somebody said from here you can probably see on the swell. Well, what's the point? It's miles away. Look, you can see yourself. in the tree, we had pretty good views. A meadow pipit sat still for 5 seconds to let me film. And then after that, a reed bunting. And then lots of the goldfinch were flying around. I was obviously scanning them all to see if any of them were the Brambling. No. Spotted a couple of bearded reedlings in here. Flew across the path, wasn't quick enough for my camera. All the settings, they wouldn't have been right anyway. I stood there for a while waiting for some video, but no. Those are Chetty's Warbler's calls. So I think that covers that. We're going to walk past a little schoolhouse and wait for some owl action, hopefully some barn owl if we're lucky. What I'll probably do when I get to the car park, because I need to go to work tonight, I had last night off, is I'm going to wash my cab. And that's a good use of time, I think. Oh, sorry, lens flare. That sun came out of nowhere. I really apologise if that lens flare was bad. I won't know until I see it on my computer. So I am getting better at that. I'm getting better at spotting it. I have to learn, because if I do this, big shadow. So we don't do that. So we have to go down like that and then across and then talk, but never like that. Okay, we move on. Well, that went a bit mental last minute. So yeah, we came back from the schoolhouse and a couple of stone chats. We got a stone chat before the schoolhouse, a male. I just want to include everything because a heck of a lot. I'm not still wearing that. Anyway, then when I got back to just before the farmhouse, a female stone chat. And then what happened? Got in the car, got in my cab, I gave it a wash. Got in my cab, went down to the track, and everyone's looking at a bittern. So I got some footage. I got this great photo of it with its mouth wide open and this crazy looking tongue that's probably, it looks barbed or something, good for sort of keeping things in there and taking it all the way back in and not letting it escape. Evil looking thing. So yeah, that was a couple of passes of the bittern, closer, further away, not moving for about 5 minutes. And then back up to see any owl action. Sure enough, I see 2 white birds on posts, 2 owls, 2 barn owls. One car watching, so no one's reporting any of these. After I reported the bittern and I reported the barn owls. Come on, people, let's share. You know, let's tell everybody where things are. You know, we all want to experience this. So I took some footage of the barn owls, then finally flicked to a couple of photos using a very low shutter speed to try and preserve because I mean, literally the sun had set by this point, and got some pretty ones, I must admit. Back into because one flew off and over the tree line, so I went back to the car park to see if it was floating around. And then there was a mention of a short-eared owl, and somebody pointed out it was on a post by the curlew pen. And I must have fired off 100, 150 shots. I was trying at 1/10 of a second to try and not put the ISO up too high. I showed the photo and I collected what video I could of it. Not very usable, but 2 owls, that's not too bad. 2 owls, bittern, the Brambling. It's been a top day. You can come here today and kind of say you've not seen much, but if you look, you walk around, you get about, there is a lot of the spoonbill. I mean, it was, yeah, you can ask for more in the day. I mean, that was a top day, even though the reserve in general going around the main track is quiet. There aren't lots of waders and things like that. It was, for species wise, brilliant. Thank you, Elmley, yet again. You haven't let me down in forever.